Have you ever felt hope and sadness at the same time? What does peace sound like in a country full of silence and storms? Can a candle fight the dark? In Myanmar, many believe it can. This is a story of gentle hearts, quiet courage, and small lights that keep shining, even when the night feels endless. Welcome. Thank you for being here, listening with your heart. This is Self-Aware 5.0. We are grateful you came along. If you like this gentle story, please subscribe and share with others who might find peace in it. Today, we softly explore the story of a place called Myanmar, walking step by step like on a foggy mountain path. It is a story about staying strong in hard times, about how peace can break easily, and about finding beauty in broken things. You walk on a dusty road in a quiet village in Myanmar. The morning sun is soft on your face. You smell sweet jasmine from a garden by the road. You hear a monk chanting quietly at a temple nearby. In the distance, birds float like small clouds in a blue sky. This land is old and rich with stories. A rooster crows like a small trumpet greeting the new day. As you walk, you touch a wooden fence. The wood is warm and smooth. A dog wags its tail at you like a happy friend on a morning walk. A farmer in a straw hat leads two water buffalo down the street. They brush past you gently. You laugh at how the buffalo yawns as if even he has a sleepy grin. On a rooftop, a lazy cat dozes in the sun, looking at you with half-closed eyes. You smile at the idea that even a sleepy cat can be a quiet guardian of the village. You remember that Myanmar was once called Burma long ago. You might wonder why names change. Today, people say Myanmar, a strong name in the local language, but many still call it Burma, like an old friend's nickname. You may also know that the capital city now is Naypyidaw, a new city with very wide streets and golden statues. But most people still live in Yangon, the old Rangoon. Yangon is by the big river and has the Shwedagon Pagoda, a giant gold dome that sparkles in sunlight. Locals say Yangon is like a garden city with parks and old colonial buildings. Myanmar is in Asia, a land that touches many neighbors. To the north, China is close. To the west, India and Bangladesh are near. To the east, Thailand and Laos. The land is like a bridge between many places. Imagine a long, peaceful river flowing through the middle, called the Ayeyarwady. The river is like a long silver ribbon carrying boats and stories. Its water brings fish and rice to people along its way. You know this river is as wide as a city and famous as a life-giving road. You may have seen pictures of the countryside. Farms full of rice like green carpets, tall bamboo forests, and golden pagodas in every town. Myanmar has 3 big seasons: a very hot summer, then heavy rainy months, then a cool, dry winter. You feel the memory of rain on hot earth. It smells like fresh leaves and clean air. The rains turn the fields bright green. You see children running in the rain during Thingyan, the water festival in April, splashing everyone with water. It is like a big city-wide water fight to wash away old troubles. Even soldiers during Thingyan sometimes smile when a bucket of water hits them by surprise. In April, everyone for a moment turns to children again. Now, think of the people of this land. There are many groups here, each with its own color and song. Over 100 different peoples live across these hills and plains. The largest group, called Bamar, is about 2/3 of everyone. Other, Shan, Karen, Chin, Rakini, Kachin, Mon, and more make up the rest. Each group has its own clothes, its own language, its own music. You imagine a child in a bright flowered shawl next to a farmer in a checked longi, next to a boy in a silk lungi. You wonder how each group paints the same land in many colors. Here, nearly 90 of people are Buddhist, so temples and monks are everywhere. At dawn, you might see hundreds of monks in saffron robes walking on the roads with empty bowls, collecting rice and fruit from families. You hear the low chant of a prayer under a Bodhi tree. Every village and city has at least one big golden pagoda like the Shwedagon, or many white stupas dotting the horizon. Even the smallest town has its monastery with a painted mural of Buddha. The smell of incense and jasmine lingers at temple steps. In the morning breeze, you can almost taste a sweet lotus scent. These small signs remind you of peace and faith. A quirky thing you notice: many girls and women wear a yellow paste called thanaka on their cheeks. Thanaka feels cool on the skin and smells faintly of wood. It looks like someone painted golden leaves or smiley faces on their cheeks. Even toddlers have a round dot of thanaka on their nose. A little girl with pigtails draws a circle on your palm with thanaka. She giggles and says Mingalaba, which means hello in Burmese. You smile and say Mingalaba back. You feel the warmth of her greeting in your heart. Such gentle moments feel almost magical in the morning light. You remember that Myanmar was once called the Kingdom of 2,000 Pagodas. In the old plains of Bagan, many golden towers reach up from the fields like candles in a forest. Around the year 1000, kings built over 2,000 temples there, as if lighting the land with spiritual lamps. Today, at sunrise, those temple spires glow like jewels. Hot air balloons float above them, and people say Bagan looks like the earth wearing a diamond crown. You try to count the spires, but there are too many. The sight feels miraculous. Pause a moment. You feel the warm stone under you as you rest by a pagoda. Close your eyes and breathe deep. You think, how small we feel under this endless blue sky. You hold a cup of hot jasmine tea in your hands. The steam tickles your nose. You ask yourself softly, does a flower worry about a coming storm? Or does it just bloom and shine? You almost hear the lotus whisper back, just bloom. Now, you step into history. Long ago, this country was ruled by kings and then by a faraway power. Imagine, in the 19th century, Britain came and made it a colony. They built railways and schools, and people had to learn English. Burma became very rich in rice and timber, feeding the world. But after a while, the Burmese felt walls closing in. They wanted to be their own masters again. In 1948, the story changed. Burma became free from Britain, like waking from a long dream. People cheered, as if a new wind had come. A brave leader named Aung San led the way. His picture was on the books they printed. He promised that all groups would have a say in running the country. But only months after freedom, Aung San was killed. It felt like cutting a young tree before it could grow tall. You feel that loss too deep down. From there, things got hard. Soon, the army took power in 1962. The roads and factories fell quiet. Many eyes turned to the leaders for answers, but few came. We say it was like a box closing around the country. Every day was the same. No music on the radio, no new books in the stores. people were so poor. By the late 1980s, some families had only one meal a day. They ate one boiled potato and drank thin tea. You remember sometimes even a full stomach feels hungry for hope. In 1988, people decided they had enough. Imagine hundreds of thousands of students, workers, and everyday people took to the streets in cities like Yangon and Mandalay. They wanted democracy, for the windows of their homes to open. They wore red scarves and held white flowers, marching and singing. You feel the excitement. They danced and chanted. But then the soldiers came with guns. In one terrible day in August, many people were hurt. It was a tragic call. People knew they had to keep trying, no matter what. From that crowd rose a gentle woman named Aung San Suu Kyi. She had a kind smile and calm eyes. Daughter of the independence hero, she believed in change through words, not guns. She formed the NLD, a party for the people. In the 1990 election, her party won almost all the votes. You hold your breath. But the generals in power did not step down. They kept her under house arrest for many years, as if locking hope in a room. Still, her smile and song stayed alive for the world. Time passed. In 2010, the army let her out and held a new election. In 2015, her party won again, this time fairly. You breathe a soft sigh of relief like spring after a long winter. You whisper to yourself, even a slow turtle can reach its pond by keeping on walking. It was as if light was coming back. Aung San Suu Kyi became the leader of the new government, called State Councilor, though the army still held some power. But even spring had shadows. In 2017, a dark storm passed over the west of the country. In Rakhine State, many people of the Rohingya ethnic group faced terrible violence. The Rohingya are mostly Muslims and had lived there for generations, but many other people wrongly called them outsiders. Suddenly, homes were burned and people ran to save themselves. Over 7,000 Rohingya fled across the border to Bangladesh in 1 year. It was like half a city emptied overnight. You see it in your mind. Families walking through mud. Mothers carrying crying babies, children hugging toys as they go. It breaks your heart. You whisper, even a tiny star can shine in the darkest sky. The world watched. Some said it was ethnic cleansing, but you focus on the people. Frightened mothers, children holding each other, leaving everything behind. You ask quietly, if our world can wash away someone's life like that, what will keep humanity together? After that dark time, people still hoped for change. In November 2020, Myanmar held another election. People went to the polls. And again, the NLD won by a huge margin. The country seemed on the edge of a real new day. But then came February 1st, 2021. You remember that date as if it is a bruise in time. In the cold night, soldiers and tanks rolled out in cities. Yangon, Mandalay, Naypyidaw. The generals accused the election of fraud and seized power. Even the electricity went out, leaving the world in darkness and confusion. Phones buzzed with fear. You try to sleep but can't. The sound of helicopters wakes you up. Aung San Suu Kyi was arrested again. Across the country, a brave voice felt crushed. Then the people said, no. In the streets, ordinary mothers, teachers, shopkeepers held flowers and made a human chain. They shouted, we want democracy. They even painted 3-finger salutes on their hands, borrowing a gesture of hope from other lands. But the army began to shoot into the crowds. It was another nightmare repeating itself. You cover your eyes and imagine, is this happening again? Many were hurt and even killed. You feel anger and fear swimming together. You remind yourself, one small candle can light 1,000 steps in darkness. Even if the world is ending, one small light is worth keeping. When the streets became too dangerous, many young people fled the cities. You might be one of them, running to the hills with only a bag of clothes. You meet other teens and students. Together with older local soldiers, ethnic armies, you begin to train in secret in the jungle. You practice with a slingshot or a small rifle. You cook rice on a campfire. You know how to be quiet. The forests are peaceful at night except for the rain on leaves. You carry a small rifle, but a large hope in your heart. In the quiet dark, you whisper again. Even a gentle heart can carry great courage. By day, you learn from ethnic fighters about the land. They teach you to spot birds on the trail, to find clean water, and to listen for distant planes. You also learn their language and songs. Sometimes by a tree, you and your new friends share a story from home. Even in war, laughter comes. You laugh when a fish slaps back at someone in the river, or when a friend misses a leap and falls in a muddy puddle. Across the country, a new group in exile forms, the National Unity Government NUG, led by people from the old parliament. They call for resistance and rally the world to watch. But you are here, living minute by minute. Fighting spreads. A quiet country is broken into many battlefields. In early 2023, something called Operation 1027 happened. Rebel armies joined for the first time and surprised the generals, capturing a big city in the north. We hope that means change, but then China steps in. China is our giant neighbor, and they built big pipelines here. Both oil and gas run from Myanmar's ocean up to China. They paid billions to build them, so everybody knows. Nobody can blow up that pipeline road. In fact, people say the pipelines are like a safe island. Some families sleep near the pipelines, thinking, if neither side will strike here, we will. You drive along the long, dark pipeline towers one night. Each tower has a blinking light like an airport runway. Crickets chirp. A gecko on one tower blends right in. You wonder, is this pipeline a lifeline or a chain? In Kachin State in the north, you've heard there are huge jade and ruby mines. Indeed, Myanmar is famous for red rubies and green jade. Now, the rebel Kachin army controls many mines. China used to buy so much jade from Myanmar that they would pay in bags of cash or grain. Now they must deal with rebels to keep those gems flowing to factories that make phone and windmill parts. You think even gemstones can be a reason for more fighting. Life for ordinary people is very hard now. The roads are often blocked, so sometimes people go by boat or even walk for hours. In Yangon or Mandalay, tall buildings are full of soldiers, not people. Towns are quieter, but markets still try to open. You stop at a small tea shop under bamboo walls. People meet here for conversation and snacks. An old man brews strong, sweet milk tea in a pot. He accidentally drops a spoon and yelps. You both jump, then burst out laughing together. For a moment, the war feels far away. Only the warm tea and the friendly eyes of the vendor are real. In one village, children play a game of leapfrog. A monkey suddenly jumps off a tree and copies them, leaping awkwardly. The kids giggle and clap. Even the little monkey grins and chuffs in delight. You sit and laugh too. Even the forest offers a playful audience. You guess that only an audience of children and monkeys would appreciate such a silly hop. Neighbors try to help each other. In a courtyard, a family has opened a soup kitchen. They serve mohinga, a tasty fish noodle soup for whoever is hungry. You lean over the big pot. The smell of lemongrass and ginger makes you want a spoon. A little boy next to you says proudly, "My mother says soup warms your body and soul." You nod, hoping their kindness will warm them in these cold times. A man walks by with his pet pig on a leash. The pig sniffs into a stall looking for snacks. The vendor laughs. "Sorry, little piggy, no mud pies here." You smile and say, "He said hell, pay in kisses." The vendor grins and drops a banana in the pig's mouth. You laugh. Even a piggy dinner can be funny. You carefully step on a bamboo plank by the river, but there is a banana peel. You slip and almost fall, but you end up doing a little dance to keep your balance. A child nearby claps and laughs, calling you great dancer. You bow playfully. Now your clumsiness is someone's favorite show. On a dusty road, you see a sign that says elephant crossing. You stare and laugh out loud. Even the elephants want an A, you joke to yourself. Then you remember the story of Yoma elephants that used to roam freely here. Today, maybe only the king's processions have them. You imagine a cartoon parade of elephants wearing hats marching under this sign. Later, in a quiet hut at dusk, a friend shows you a silly cartoon in a newspaper. It's an elephant wearing sunglasses, eating rice with chopsticks. You both laugh until your sides ache. Even here, far from home, you find simple joy in a comic drawing. For all the hardship, the land still shows its beauty. Tonight, you help hang small paper lanterns at a temple. The soft light makes everyone's faces glow. A woman across from you hums a lullaby as she places her candle. "This will guide our dreams," she whispers. You light your lantern and set it in the night air. It floats like a star on a silk string. If peace is fragile, you think, maybe even these small lights can guide us. You imagine the whole country as lanterns floating together on a river of midnight. In your mind, you travel to villages by the sea. A fisherman pulls in a net under a full moon. He finds tangled nets, but also small fish. He smiles and sings a folk song from his childhood, one about a moonlit love. Even in the chaos, people still sing songs from home. One evening, as twilight drapes over the mountains, you sit by a teak table with friends around a tiny fire. Someone plays the Burmese harp gently. The notes sound like falling rain. You sip jasmine tea from a cup that warms your hands. You close your eyes and quietly ask, what does peace feel like? Is it this warm cup, this soft music, or something deeper? Maybe peace is what you find here in these little acts. A shared meal, a whispered lullaby, the steady glow of a lantern. Now, let's breathe. Inhale slowly. Feel the wind on your skin, gentle like a prayer. Feel the earth under you, strong even if cracked. You have walked with me from past to present, through pain and hope. You've seen how people still help each other, how flowers bloom by the roadside, how even laughter survives the storm. You remember, even a lotus can bloom in muddy water. Thank you for listening to this quiet journey. If your heart felt a little lighter, please subscribe and share this story softly with others. Each voice for peace matters. Together, we light more candles. This has been Selfware 5.0. Until we speak again, keep holding hope close. Good night, and think on this. Which small act of kindness will you plant in the world today?